All right. Welcome, everyone, to our webinar tonight. Sorry about that. We're going to begin in just a moment. We're going to make sure that everyone can get logged in before we start so no one misses anything this evening. So, again, welcome, and we will start momentarily.
All right.
And Alex, if you want to send me that link, that would be,
Yeah, you texted me already?
yes,
I didn't get it.
I
In
think I
the
did.
text message, the group
Yes.
in WhatsApp.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
So if you want to send it to me, I'll send it to her.
Okay.
perfect. All right. All righty. And with that, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our free webinar, Save Smart, Grow Fast, Year-End Tax and Financial Strategies for Aesthetic Businesses. My name is Fallon, and I'll be your host this evening. We're thrilled to have you here as we explore ways to elevate your medical training and your expertise. Our guest speakers tonight are Lester Salvatierra, the Director of First U.S. Financial, and Alex Soto and Ashkan Shapori, co-founders of Luna Medical Technology. Tonight's webinar is brought to you by Empire Medical Training and our vendor partner, Luna Medical Technology, who is a leading medical device company on a mission to bridge the gap between technology and the emerging world of aesthetics and beauty. Before we dive in, I wanted to share a few things with you. Empire Medical Training has been a trusted resource for medical professionals for over 27 years. Our purpose is simple: to empower clinicians with the training, support, and clinical pathways needed to confidently expand into new procedures. With Empire, you can train nationwide, allowing you to minimize disruptions to your practice. You can learn at every skill level, from foundational to advanced. You receive continuous post-training support, including live faculty sessions. You can choose between in-person, virtual, and hybrid learning methods. You have access to membership packages that create a complete ongoing learning pathway and practice hands-on techniques on real patients for true procedural competency. Our commitment goes beyond education. We're here to help you grow professionally, safely, and sustainably. Empire offers a collection of training academies designed for comprehensive professional development. These include aesthetics, pain management, functional medicine, business and marketing, and virtual training. Each academy is structured to meet the evolving needs of medical providers, combining rigorous clinical education with modern learning methods. Whether you're entering a new specialty or strengthening existing skills, our academies provide a clear, guided pathway toward becoming a more confident and capable practitioner. We recognize the demands placed on medical professionals, which is why our training model focuses on flexibility, depth, and accessibility. We offer over 1,000 hours of CME through our virtual training academy, interactive courses in aesthetics, functional medicine, and pain management, and more than 700 hands-on workshops held nationwide each year. Whether you prefer to learn from home or through immersive patient-based workshops, you'll have unlimited opportunities to grow your skill set at your own pace. As a quick reminder, please submit any questions to the Q&A feature. These will be addressed during our live session. And please use the chat box to communicate with me or interact with fellow attendees. And with that, guys, I'm going to turn it over to Ash, Alex, and Lester.
Thank you very much. And welcome everyone again to another webinar. We're happy to be here every time and sharing as much information as we can with you guys, especially you guys that we know you're starting. It's either at the beginning of starting some new path for yourself through Empire and all the classes that they're offering because you already made that decision. And this is great. Or you already started and you're in the middle and you're just still adding more informations just to grow faster and sooner. And we're here to help you as much as we can. We share informations. We had a great experience with our previous webinars that we did. The topics that we covered, it was very interesting and I think very needed topics in terms of like how to start a business, what kind of technology and services they need to offer, what kind of marketing they should do based on their situations, and kind of try to give the information is kind of missing, part of the in the business side of it because Empire is great at helping you guys and training you guys on the in terms of the techniques and the treatments and the services that you could offer and kind of train you on that matter. But on the business side, there's so many other factors that it needs to be kind of combined with what it comes with your skills. So we're here to help you on that matter too. And we covered a lot of other stuff. If you guys have any questions and you want to go over all those previous webinars, let us know. and we'll be happy to share that with you or even have a one-on-one section. But let's just jump right into it. Before we get into it, I want to introduce ourselves to you guys. At least you know who you're talking to and who we are. I'm Ashkun Shapuri. I'm one of the co-founders at Luna Medical Technology with the projects we have. I have medical backgrounds, I have the business backgrounds, and I do a lot of consulting at the same time for the people, kind of like in your situations, either starting the aesthetics business or they've been in aesthetic business and they want to just grow much faster. So I'll try to share as much information as I have with you guys. And I'll just pass it to Alex. Alex, you can introduce yourself.
So, yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm not sure if anyone attending the webinar will be this weekend, either in the New York event or the LA event. But if you're there, you'll probably see either Ash or myself. We kind of split ourselves this weekend so we could cover both sides. So if you do attend, please stop by and at least say hi, and would love to interact with you guys a little bit. But yeah, I'm Alex, the co-founder here at Luna Medical. I'm originally from Spain. My background is more on the business and technology space. Started more in the medical wellness slash biohacking industry a few years ago, and then well, when I met Ash, we sort of made a good combo with him, his clinical experience, and me more like the back end and manufacturing. We took on this project, Luna Medical. We've been growing pretty quickly the past few years, both in Europe and obviously here in the US. Our US base is in Orlando, Florida. And yeah, very excited to share some insights with you tonight, and also very excited to have Lester join us. We're actually pretty honored because it's usually Ash and I giving you here all the insights, but today we have a little bit of help, and he's the actually the our partner lender that we work closely with. And he's helped us a lot, well, more than us, our clients, get through the finish line and help them actually bring to their office equipment, technology that could fuel their growth. So yeah, Lester, I'll pass it on to you so you can introduce yourself.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you, guys. Lester Salvatierra, Director of First U.S. Finance. I'm here based in Southern California and have about 30 years of finance experience, mostly in the semiconductor and technology sector, and kind of branched out into other areas, but serving primarily small and mid-sized companies, helping them get loans, leases, and different types of financing to help them grow. And we kind of pride ourselves on moving quickly and having full disclosure with our clients so that they don't encounter what I hear often is surprises when they're signing documents or going through the approval process. So I like to have open communication with everybody that we work with. And we appreciate working with Luna. Thank you.
Amazing.
That is
Thank you so
that
much,
is true. We always like working with Lester because he moves things fast.
Yeah,
And that's, one of the advantages of working with him. He's always very reachable and yeah, gets things done very quickly.
amazing. Before we jump right into it, and thank you, Lester. Before we jump right into it, I just want to say, like, usually the way we do our webinars is very interactive, and we don't want to be like a boring, just like giving so much information to you guys, and because I know you're taking your time right now. You might be tired a little bit coming after work, sitting in and listen to this. So let's try to make it fun a little bit and interactive and productive. So get involved, use the question box or even on the chat box, and then just write your questions if it comes, and we try to cover those questions in the group because then everyone gets involved. And usually when we have a smaller group, it even becomes more interactive and better. And almost we always have problem with the time on our topic. So let's get right into it. As you guys know, today we want to talk about, um, it's end of the year now, and I think this is a very important topic, and this is something that if you learn right now properly, you could actually set up the base of your business from the beginning in a very smart way. Every topic that we talk about and we cover in terms of a marketing, in terms of like investment, of what kind of products, what kind of services you bring, we always try to help you guys to prioritize and also do it in a smart way. Because as we know, aesthetic is like $1 billion business, and everyone could have some part in it. You just have to take the right steps, offer the right services, do the right marketing based on your situation, invest in a right way. And this is one of the topics is like, I think it's very interesting in terms of a financial strategies that you could do, and also how you could play with the tax, and how smart you could be. And if you set it up right from now, you'll be set and you don't have to be worried about later on the path. So that's why we wanted to, and it's end of the year, so we wanted to cover it now. So,
So, okay, section one, introduction and financial structure for your businesses. Well, you guys may all be at different stages in this phase. Maybe some of you already have gone through this process, have your business set up, maybe have been a few years in business. Maybe some of you guys are just in that initial phase and getting things set up. So we wanted to make sure we covered everything in a pretty high level view. And especially for you guys, if you have not taken that step yet, to set that foundation. So when you're starting a business, the most difficult or more challenging part of any small business or at these initial stages is the cash flow. And doesn't matter what industry you're in. Well, there's some industries that cash flow is even a little bit more challenging, like let's say ours, that we actually make the equipment. Let's say other industries, if you have like a software service or something, maybe it's a little bit easier to reach that break-even point because you have less overhead. But at the end of the day, the most challenging part of any business at that initial stage is the cash flow, which obviously is the fuel for your business. And it's sometimes not easy to reach that point, not only that you're breaking even, but that you're making money. So these steps that you take at the beginning are very crucial and important to set yourself up to make sure you're profitable sooner than later. It's very normal the first few months of any business, even depending on the kind of business, sometimes a few years to not be profitable, which it can be okay, but as long as you're making the right investments and focusing on the growth of your business, based also will depend on what goal you have for your business. If it's a pure growth because you want to grow it as fast as possible so you can sell it maybe one day in the future and you don't really care that much how much money stays in your pocket, or you just obviously your focus is to make a profit as soon as possible. And then in that case, maybe your approach in terms of investments and where you make certain investments will differ a little bit. But cash flow always one of the biggest constraints. For that, obviously, you will need a lot of times to get through those hurdles. And business is just like cycles. Sometimes you'll do very good, and then sometimes when it's going down, business, you need to find a way to survive until it goes back up again. And sometimes during that downfall is when we have to rely on loans for working capital loans, equipment loans, just to make sure you can continue with the trajectory and growth of your business. So that's one thing. And obviously, once you reach a point of profitability, the most important thing, obviously, is to limit your tax liability. So you have to be very smart. It starts with how you set up and structure your business, But then obviously once you're operating, where you make certain investments and where you allocate your resources.
I want to add something. It's very interesting. I remember a time I called one of my friend, and he's a very successful guy. He's a very businessman for many years. And I remember one year I called him, and I had the questions about the tax because it was very new, and I was started actually being profitable on one of the businesses I had before. And I asked him, I was like, I just need to ask, like, my business started making money and stuff like that, and we have a lot of money. So I have some tax question, like, how do I do? What's the best way to do it and stuff? And then I never forget. He told me, he's like, you know what? When my friends call me and ask me about tax, that's a good call that I get because I feel very good about them. It means they're making money. So again, I had to find out after like what we need to do and what's the best to strategize it and stuff like that. And that's true. It means that day, I mean, eventually for all of us is gonna come or is coming or it's there already. But the tax question is always there, and it's something that we have to be very cautious and careful about it. And it doesn't mean I know Lester knows better than all of us, but it's not. It doesn't mean you have to be very difficult. If you plan it right and structure it right, and all the expenses and the way that you're running the business and watching out for what you have to watch out, which in the next slides and stuff we're gonna go over, then you'll be fine. So you don't have to be scared of it right now. But it's something that a lot of people don't think about at the beginning of the business because they're not thinking about like, oh, we're gonna be profitable. Oh my God. The only thing is like, oh, let's make money, let's make money, let's make money. Okay, but let's say we make money. Now what do we do with it? Okay. So this is I like it when Lester's shaking his head. It means like he's confirming, and then obviously we have the experience in that too. Uh, let's move to the next one quickly.
So, as I was saying earlier, it all starts on how you set up your business at the beginning. So, in this case, usually here it's mostly small and medium-sized businesses we work with. So, the most appropriate for those tend to be LLC, which then obviously can be you can decide to be taxed as S corp. S corp is just like a branch of an LLC. It's just how you get taxed on that money, and just it gets a little bit messy. But in short, through an LLC, all the profit that your business makes, you're subject to double taxation, your corporate income tax, and then obviously that whatever income you make through the business passes on through you personally. So then obviously on top you have to pay your personal income tax and state income tax and federal income tax. If you set
Alex,
up a net corp,
sorry.
uh, yeah.
I was
Uh,
gonna say whenever you can, like maybe you could make it for us because I know we know the process and it's easy for us to understand. But maybe for the people, if maybe Lester even could give us like
mhm.
like a just a one or two line in a very simple way for everyone to understand the business because we set up a business so we understand it very well and stuff. But just if you could separate them in a very simple way for them too,
Sure.
and then Alex could take
Yeah.
it away from there as well.
Yeah, many businesses we encounter start as sole proprietors. So that's basically just the individual doing business under his own name. And
Okay.
they can file a fictitious name with any type of name they want to use, but they can operate under their name as a sole prop. That's how a lot of small businesses start. When they
Okay.
start to make money, LLC is a good choice because then there's a barrier that legally becomes harder to hold them liable if there's any lawsuits or injuries regarding the business. But
Hmm.
LLCs can be single purpose individuals, and so you don't have partners. The S Corp operates similarly, that you can have now you to do an S corp, you are thinking now of having some partners, maybe family members are going to join, and it's a good structure because the taxation is similar to LLC. Where it becomes more complicated is the C corp because there you don't realize income, you get dividends. and the government will tax the corporation, and then it'll tax the shareholders. And that's
Excellent.
really meant when you have 10, 20 people and you're going to have some investors, and it's kind of set up for that structure. There's a good thing to look at when starting out is examine the cost of starting each type of entity, because there can be some substantial costs in the S Corp and C Corp, while the LLC is much more simple. And
Fantastic.
each state has a different treatment on how those are filed.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lester. Alex, go on. Sorry.
So yeah, as Lester was saying, as an S corp, of course, you need to have already some sort of or be generating some sort of profit, because one of the requirements of an S corp is that you, as the owner or shareholder, you have to pay yourself a reasonable salary,
Oh,
whatever that is. And as Lester was saying, a C corp, that would be more of a formal business structure. If you're planning to bring venture money, shareholders, even keeping track of all the documentation you need to keep track of in a C corp is a little bit more heavy. Annual meetings and all that. So the good thing of a C corp, obviously, is that that's more suitable. Let's say if you're planning on opening multiple locations, if it's a pretty substantial project, or if you're looking to franchise. But yeah, in most cases, as Lester was saying, it's a sole prop, and then maybe S corp LLC. Um, Liability, not only the money, but as Lester was saying, liability is an important factor to keep in mind, especially in this industry that we're in, the medical field. Liability is a big thing, so you want to make sure you are protected in that aspect as well. So very important to consider that as well.
I was going to add to what Alex was saying. I mean, see, this is liabilities and stuff. It's very important, as you said, and especially in aesthetics and stuff, because we know how many unhappy clients we get, and it's part of it's a reality, and we have to accept that it's part of the job. That's why we always talk about the malpractice insurance that's necessary at the beginning, and we talked about it in our blueprint of a start business, and we always go through it with our clients. But at the same time, how you set up your business to protect yourself, that's something too. So you have to decide to protect yourself financially in the tax matter, and also liabilities and stuff. And later on, if something comes up, that's a good point. Again, everything is connected, by the way. Again, we're going through all these steps and the basic steps. Again, it sounds like a lot of information, but case by case, really quick, we could decide what you fit in. It's not like, oh, you have to know everything and stuff like that. If you sometimes we have clients, they come in, they're like, okay, I'm starting a business. I don't know, which one should I start? What insurance should I get? What services should I offer? What kind of marketing I should pick? It's very quick based on your situations, and like you're telling us about your situation you're at financially, your the plan that you have, and how many people are involved. Based on that, and what stage you're in, we quickly could line up all these things and put them together, and then you're good to go. And all these things could happen in like 1 week. I mean, it's not like a projects and stuff, because then later on you just have to focus on the business and how to make it profitable. But yeah, do you want to continue, Alex? But
Yeah.
slides are coming. Okay.
All right, section 2. Now we're going to focus on the tax savings and maximizing deductions. Obviously, this is a good position to be in. That means we're profitable, we're making money. We need to see where we can spend it, but in a smart way. Because I was telling Ash earlier before we joined in the webinar, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and very good business person, and he was saying profit in any business is just unnatural. Doesn't matter if it's $100,000 business, a $1 million business, or a $20 million business. There's always a lot of opportunities, a lot of ways in you can spend your money. And in any business, there always needs to be that person that makes sure we keep some of those dollars
Mm.
within the business, because at the end of the day, a business is to make money and be profitable. So, with that said, we do have to maximize our write-offs, allocate our resources strategically, but making sure we take the right steps with it. So now we're approaching the end of the year. So there's still some things we can do for it in case, let's say you have a business and you have a decent profit and you just need deductions. But I want to be clear, this is you can work on this from the beginning of the year. So starting January is where actually these deductions, and if you plan ahead and follow through with it throughout the entire year, is where you can actually see more of an impact of this. But with that being said, well, there's still some things we can do. So what can we do? Accelerate or upfront some of the expenses you're going to incur next year. If you have good profits and you're looking for deductions, maybe your landlord agrees for you to pay them 3 months in advance of the rent. Maybe you are looking to send your staff to for training or to Empire training events. Maybe you can also pay for that upfront so that they can attend next year. Equipment, regardless if you finance it, you purchase it in full, there's ways you can also write off that amount. So, keep looking for those opportunities towards year end, and even the money you spend throughout the year that maybe you've overlooked, and you can actually use it as a deduction. Make sure you have a qualified CPA guiding you, and talk about this matter with them. So that's
Right.
upfronting expenses, then deferring income. There's obviously ways you can just have your clients pay you later after year end, if that is something that is going to be more beneficial to you. And then more on the personal side, obviously you can maximize some of the tax-free contributions that you can make to certain benefit plans or retirement accounts.
Sometimes making money in the business, it doesn't mean that specifically you have to have a profitable. I mean, it's not. It doesn't mean like you have to have a lot of sales and stuff specifically. Sometimes you make money by saving money in the business. It means like you spend smart, very smart, like how you're spending, and how you structure your business. That like the money that you're spending it in the right place too. So saving is making money, spending money on the right places is making money, and then of course selling is making money. So this is like three ways, but all of them has to be always under control, as Alex was mentioning.
All right. So yeah, following the previous slides, maximizing your write-offs and deductions in the year end. There might be a lot of expenses you have incurred throughout the year that you might have, or you might think you cannot deduct from your income taxes. So such things like use of vehicle, even if it's your personal vehicle, but if you use it to commute back and forth, maybe there's a part of that that you can write off. Home office deductions. If you have a home office, you can always deduct that too. If you have made any donations this year, that is always something you can write off. Obviously, all the training expenses that you've had for you, your staff, all those you can also write off. So, and I mean, there's a very, very long list. So that's why always it's very important to surround yourself from good CPAs and good financial professionals, because in the long term, even if they're a little bit more expensive, they're going to save you a lot more money that's going to cost you. So always make sure you surround yourself of good people in that field.
Very true. Also, at the same time, I think Lester knows and he's gonna probably confirm this and stuff. This is the part that sometimes the accountant hates too at the same time, because not people not being like knowledge about this, they might consider certain expenses as like, oh, this is expenses. I could buy this nice purse for myself, and I'm gonna put it because I'm gonna look great when I sit down with the. And then this is where the accountant go a little bit crazy, right? I think, right, Lester, you could confirm this. Like you're like, no,
True.
you cannot. That does not be part of the business. This is not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody should have a home office. You're foolish if you're letting that go to waste. You measure off a section that you have, you put your computer there, your printer, your copier, whatever you have, and you designate that by square footage. And you take that percent of your total house, and with utilities, you write that off. And then you may have entertainment expenses and that you host clients over. All of those are legitimate expenses that sometimes small businesses kind of forget about.
Yep.
Exactly. And it
Yeah.
adds up, it's little by little, but it adds up. And
Hmm.
then if you have the structure and the table and you have a right accountant to control that for you, it's not a difficult and it's not a lot of work for you. It's just you
Mhm.
know what to save, what documents to save, and you could go back to it later on when it's time for taxing and stuff. I think
Yep.
this is our favorite slides now.
Mhm. Yeah, so okay, when it comes down to equipment, we'll cover it later briefly, but when we're saying, okay, invest that surplus cash or have those deductions and invest it in things that can fuel the growth of your business.
Mhm.
Those really, we see there's like three pillars for that. One, equipment. Okay, what can you bring to expand your service catalog, which at the end of the day, it's what's going to bring in the money to your office. That's one pillar. Then obviously marketing. It gets pretty expensive, and you want to make sure people know you exist. So make sure obviously some part of that is allocated to your marketing expenses. And then third, your people, your team. Those three pillars are the most important, and where you can actually invest with a clear conscience that is going to help your business in the long run. So in this first pillar, equipment write-offs. There's two ways, and I'll let Lester a little bit finish this slide for me. But there's two ways you can write off your equipment, big purchases. If you had a decent amount of profit this year through your business, you're looking for write-offs, you can even finance that equipment. As long as it's in your office and operational before year end, you can write off the whole thing, even if you financed it. Let's say you maybe didn't make that much profit this year, or you already have enough deductions, you don't need more. You can still get that piece of equipment, keep expanding your service catalog, keep growing your business, but choose to deduct through depreciation that amount through several years. So you can get it now, don't deduct it this year, but through the next few years you can use it to reduce your tax liability in those years.
It's amazing. Is that Lester? Maybe you want to talk about the Section 179 again for them? Like, if anything you want to add to what Alex
What do
said?
you see
Yeah,
people like doing more, Lester?
we
179?
that's very exciting for small business owners because traditionally you had to depreciate or write off equipment over a series of years. And that changed. And now companies are able, in small businesses, 100%, like you mentioned, they can write it off in the year they put it into use. So that was 1.25 million, which is a good amount of equipment for a small business. But with the one big beautiful bill, that was raised up to 2.5 million.
Oh,
Amazing.
And
wow.
and if you
Amazing.
look at bonus depreciation, I say the sky's the limit. You can write off pretty much everything that you put into use, whether it's new or used, and 100% write it off that year. So, but I always say, check with your accountant before you make that jump, because this is a part of the tax law that it has a lot of wiggle room and it's changing. So you want to confirm that, but it's up to 2.5 million now just on Section 179. So that is a beautiful advantage.
Big beautiful bill.
Amazing.
Big
This is
beautiful
a
bill.
very this is a very common use in medical field, and I don't know if you guys new to the field or you've been in the field, you notice like there's so many shows coming in November and December, and these shows are packed, and people, I mean, we had so many cases that they're contacting us, say like in December we need to buy or we need to spend, we need to spend. How do we spend? It's a great idea, and especially if you guys are a beginner and starter. On the other webinar, we explain how having equipments, but the right equipments in the office could grow very quick and start being very profitable in aesthetic business. Because I know we talked about it again quickly. We said like estheticians, hyperfacials, this mesotherapy stuff is like a first level, but it's not high margin. We talked about injections, the people who do injections. It's great. You have to have it in your aesthetic field, but it's not really a high margin, and there's always someone does it cheaper on the corner. So it's not really that jump on your business to be profitable and stuff. But only the step that when you add the equipment to your office and your aesthetic business, that's where the big job comes, and the margin is very high, and that's why you start making your real money in aesthetic like everyone else. And that's why the machines are so expensive to buy, and they know that, but still people buy it because that's how you could grow in your business. Now, with these options that we're talking about, even if you're starting, you don't have to be worried about it because this is the best investment you could possibly do. Is like already you're having a profit because you buy a machine that could make you money. It could grow your business and you look like a real, let's say, like a medical spa. At the same time, you could already start saving for the tax, either in future or something. Even if you're a beginner, you know that, okay, I'm investing in something, I'm gonna get it back later. So it's like someone giving me the machine to make money with it, and they're gonna pay me back for it too. It's like it cannot get any better than this in aesthetic. And that's why I'm saying like knowing enough about this field and how to start it is not, it could help you to understand that it's not as scary as you think, only if you take the right steps and be smart about how you do it. And that's why there's so many, let's say, medical spas, and every day they're opening so many new ones, and they still make money, okay? Because they're taking the right steps. I just want to add before we go to the next one. Again, we'll be happy to do this consulting with you guys too, one-on-one if you need it. Not only on this part, but only overall, because we do consulting for our clients and help you with that matter and ask you answer any questions you have. But be interactive, and if you have any questions, just please write it to us, okay? And we'll love to share it with everyone else too.
Yeah. So yeah, adding on to what Ash was saying, at the end of the day, it's just how you put to use your money. So, so you can keep growing your business. And I always say money itself, a paper bill has no value by itself. It's just a tool, and it depends how you use it or how you put it to use. That's when that money becomes valuable. And of course, the more you have, the more you can do with it and the more valuable that money becomes. So just keep that in mind. And money at the end of the day is just a tool, and it's as valuable as how you put it to use. Whether it's holiday with your family, that of course adds value to your life, or whether it's to fund your business, your future projects that will hopefully bring you more money in the future. So it's all about how you put it in use.
Very true. So just know, I know it's end of the month and we don't want to put pressure on everyone, but if you have the plan to start a business and you have certain things already set up and you've been trained and you're ready and you're planning to, let's say, open the next year, like in January, February, March, take advantage of December before those months to come. And you'll see, even when we talk together, we will explain why you could take advantage of it. And that's why we're trying to explain this. I wish we could have explained this like last month, just to get you guys ready, because the time is like running out right now. But still, there's still enough time, and you could make that move and quickly jump in on the right way.
Yep. So yeah, just a quick recap on your action checklist. Maximize on the personal side your benefit and retirement contributions. If you have a business and you have profit and you can prepay certain expenses of next year, definitely do that. Better than paying it in taxes. Equipment, just keep working on your business, expand your service catalog, and then you can always write that off in those two different ways that we discussed in the previous slide. And education, and just um, keep growing your team and investing in your team, because business at the end of the day, it all comes down to the team you have. So definitely all money invested in that fourth section, that fourth point, is well invested.
So, I'm sure you guys are already doing it, but with the Empire, for example, the classes you're taking in there because you're really basically investing in your business by getting like enough skill, like education, the knowledge and stuff, because then the quality and the services you're offering and then the results is gonna be a good basically that's what you need to grow and maintain your business, because if people come out not happy because the way what you did, the services, the results wasn't good enough because you weren't trained enough, then it's going to go back and bite you another way. Yeah.
Yep.
uh,
Section 3, financial strategy and reinvestment. All right. So this is a little bit, again, more of what we had spoken about earlier. Um, Maximize tax liabilities, surround yourself by financial experts, and set up, that foundation the right way from the very beginning. And those are actually the three pillars I mentioned earlier. Those are like the three good investments that you can do for your business, and most important ones: equipment for your menu, marketing, let people know you exist. There's many different channels and many different ways of marketing. We actually covered a full webinar on this, but you have like your outbound marketing, digital marketing, then you have events you can do in your office to promote new technology that you bring in, new services. Maybe you're just starting out, a grand opening. So marketing always very important, and I cannot say it enough, staff development, very,
yeah,
very important.
very true. By the way, for the people who are staying with us and being patient enough and listening to us, we have a little bit of a like a promotion at the end too for appreciations and stuff. So thanks for staying with us. And then at the end we could talk and maybe we have something special for you guys too. So appreciate it. But make sure to write down all your questions too, or set up a time with us. I know on the group on the chat we have the link that you guys could actually do set up a call with us like 30 minutes for free, and we just do the consulting on everything. It's not just for tax purpose, because tax Lester's is the master, it's not our really specialities, but all on the overall whole business we could consult you a little bit how to start or how you could grow your business where you're at right now based on where you're at.
Yep. So
Equipment
section 4, equipment financing. I'm gonna turn it on to Lester. He'll take this section for us. I think he'll have very valuable information as to what the market looks like today, because as you guys know, it changes on a month-to-month, year-by-year basis. What requirements are needed, let's say in today's market. If maybe you're not there in terms of requirements, how or on what things you can work on, so you can, eventually when you're ready to take that step, maybe get approved for certain loans or equipment financing. So yeah, I'll let Lester, he's the master in this, take it from here.
I just have Lester, before you start,
Mhm.
we got, which amazing. Thanks for sending a question. Is the company will send a Section 179 form?
If we will send the
Is the
section
company will
179
send
form,
like the
That
company
is in the
themselves?
tax, that's in the tax filing for the federal tax filing. So there would be a section in there for business filing.
yeah, that your accountant or CPA,
Mhm.
when preparing your taxes, should prepare all that for you.
Okay. Thank you, Lester. And you could take it away now.
Thank you. Um,
All right,
okay, you can
next
go.
slide.
Okay. Sorry, yeah.
No problem. Alex, you touched on a lot of perfect ideas. So when you're financing, some small businesses make the mistake because sometimes they have saved up capital and they need equipment and they start paying for it in cash. We see this over and over again because then an emergency comes up and they don't have capital, an emergency, an expense that was unexpected, and they don't have capital to cover it. So the mistake is trying to spread your equipment costs over the years as far as possible that you can finance it. And really, what you want to do is, as with a piece of aesthetic equipment, you calculate the revenue that it's going to generate, X amount of clients, here's what you charge per session, here's what you can do in a monthly basis. And a simple calculation is once you have that estimate per your experience or your forecast, then you can look and say, well, my finance payment is less than that. And if you have a positive cash flow, you're making the right decision because you want to match that revenue expense as much as possible. It's unlike office improvements and other things that don't directly generate revenue. So this type of equipment does, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to put your working capital out because if it comes to a moment to borrow capital, it's much more costly to borrow money than it is to finance a loan. And every banker will tell you that. So you don't want to get into the cost of emergency working capital because that is much more costly than a 3 or 5 year finance. So the key thing I tell our small businesses, preserve your bank line. And what that is once you establish your business and you have cash flow, you apply for a credit line with your bank. And you don't touch it unless you have to. You don't touch it for assets. You use it for expenses that come up that were unexpected because that is your emergency buffer when something goes wrong. So you preserve that bank line. Some people initially can't get one. So I say, well, preserve your credit card, and hang on to that because you may need that down the line until you really start to grow. So like you touched on before, Alex, the matching revenue to expenses, your return on investment is what you're trying to optimize. You spend money, you generate income, and you put those together. And as long as you're positive, you're on the right path.
Yeah, no, totally. And money is fuel for any business. So the longer you can hold on to it, the better. Even if you have to pay a little bit interest over time, it's a lot better to hold on to that money because it will fuel that growth more rapidly.
Exactly. And we get some small business owners that are very proud and they say, well, I have the money. I don't need a loan. I'm going to pay for it. But you realize that, like in the slide, 60% of large fortune companies finance because they know the model that works. So if they're borrowing to fuel growth, that should be something we look at.
Yep.
I think the line I heard, it says never spend money in your business with your own money. Always grow your business with other people's. Basically, it says like, finance loans and stuff like that. But the big guy was saying is like never spend your own money and stuff. And again, this is so different of investment, financing and stuff, because it's not. Sometimes I see people going like nowadays you could buy anything and make payments. Like you could buy a purse and then make payments on it. You could buy like an iPhone and then make payments. But you have to realize, does that purse is going to make you money? Is that like an investment or is it just for like my feelings and stuff? That's two different things. So that's why people should not be scared of actually financing. They should not be scared of getting a loan for their business and keep the capital, as you're saying, for themselves, because it's a different thing. And I always say, like, if you're buying a car, I'm like, you're not buying a car just to drive it and stuff. Like, you're buying a car if you want to Uber, you need to invest some money, okay? And you need to buy a car, but you know that car is going to make you money eventually. So that's actually investment, is not just that. So that's like something that people should lose their scaredness and stuff and invest really if they're planning to run a business. Let me know when I have to go to the next one. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, we're ready.
Let's see. Okay.
So I'm often asked what can be leased or financed. All types of equipment, and machinery, even where before banks prohibited LED lighting, solar, other types of electronics. Now it's viable equipment to finance, and we can often include installation, labor, or training. So if you send out and sell your device and you need to install it, you need to teach the customer how to use it. That cost can all be wrapped up into the finance. So that's nice where you're not having to outlay for the soft costs, what we call. That can all be part of the package. And we can even finance software at this point. So it's opened the door quite a bit, the model for being able to take out loans and leases for different types of assets.
That's amazing.
And so our main guidelines, usually 20,000 is the lower amount, but sometimes customers come back and they need an add-on, so we can go below that, but that's usually where it makes sense. The term can be 3 to 7 years. Again, there's always flexibility in these terms because I've done 1-year loans, 2-year loans. But what we try to do is, my advice is to try to get the payment that's comfortable with the cash flow on the equipment. So if it's going to pay itself off in a year, then great. But most of the time, equipment takes about 3-4 years to get that payment at the right level. And we can do loans, operating leases, sale leasebacks, SBA loans. A lot of medical equipment has operating leases, which is treated like a rental. So you get the equipment, you make monthly payments, but you don't own it. And at the end of the term, if you want to keep it, there's a fair market value buyout. Now, why would a doctor or a medical facility want to do that? Well, they may want to upgrade to the next version of that machine and return it. Or they may just want to have the lowest payments possible, and they're willing to pay that fair market value buyout at the end. So there's different strategies with different types of equipment, and we help advise on that. So I get calls all the time, and I'm always happy to chat about what might be the right strategy for your type of business. And we help also work with some SBA preferred lenders. So if someone falls in that category, my warning with SBA is it's a beautiful loan structure, but you have to have the preparation and the paperwork. It's government-based, a guaranteed loan, so it takes quite a bit of filing paperwork, and you have to have the patience for that. And so that's just my caveat when someone starts going down that path. And preferably, we like businesses that are 2 years and over because that's out of the startup phase. But we have worked with businesses that they just filed their LLC or the fictitious name, and we can help them. But if you want to start a business as a startup, the credit has to be a little stronger than most, which is 700 and over, and you have to have experience in the business. So if you're going to start a spa, it is best that you have worked in a spa or for a doctor or a medical facility, that you have at least 3 years experience in that industry, because then otherwise it really becomes a shot in the dark for lenders looking at that and saying, that risk is quite high when you don't have the experience in it. So 2 years is best, but we can work with startups. And I always tell startups that if they have a spouse or another job and they're bringing money in through that they show me all the capital coming through, because the household capital is what makes a difference. So you're not going to have any business income yet, but if you have money coming in from various sources, that'll help buff up the approval process for the loan. So it's good to show that you have incoming money that obviously can pay for the debt. And the types of clients, really most of our clients are commercial, small to mid-sized businesses. We have worked with churches, we have worked with the nonprofits in the past, and some municipalities, but most of them fall in the commercial, small to mid-sized business. And I always tell them if there's no upper limit on what you can finance, it's really based on the cash flow and your revenue and what it shows it can support.
Lester, just to add to that, usually most of the clients that we had, which Lester helped some of them, like they're coming because they were the beginner, they're starting a business, so they don't have like a strong, or they're not really fitting in every the characters. And sometimes I get a little bit annoyed too with the banks and stuff. I'm like, well, if we have all the characters and the qualifications you're asking, we would not come to ask for a loan, you know? Like sometimes they're making it so difficult and complicated, and at the beginning we want to start like that. There are still so many different ways that it could be played around with. I mean, as Lester was saying, like you could have a spouse supporting you, someone like signing up and helping you in that matter. The experiences you could have, or at least it's very good to understand what your situation is, and if you're planning to do the business and you're planning to get a loan, what you need to do from now to change it, and what's the closest and fastest way to get to where you need to get so you'll be able to qualify to get the loan. Okay. So you could understand that map basically, but the shortest and smarter way. So it's regardless, I think it's a very good idea to consult on this matter and understand what your situation is, what you're planning to do, where you could go. The other thing I wanted to add is about, again, sometimes we cannot wait, and that ideal number that we want in our mind for the ideal business that we want to have is not possible, and we cannot really go and like ask for like a $1 million loan at the beginning. Okay, we have to be a little bit realistic on that matter. Now, how we could start, and don't let that hold us back of starting, because to me the most difficult part is just to start, is like to actually decide and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it happen. You actually take that first step. Okay. And after that, if you're really planning to do this, you make it work. Okay, you don't stop in a middle. You just do everything that it takes to make it work. But that first step that you need to take is the most important one. Now, how we could help you in that matter, or in general, you could be smart about it, is like how to set up, how to start doing little by little, what to add, how to invest with the little money. Invest on something that could be profitable. With that a little bit extra money, you could invest in something to bring the value of your company a little bit higher. That value could go. And now, as you're building this company and buying time, but still you're doing something, you're not waiting for that ideal time and perfect time to arrive, which it won't happen unless you're moving. There is still ways, okay? And there are so many ways, and there's so many clients where we had that I did the consulting with them and I kind of helped them through, and they started to make money, and then 6 months later, they had enough for their capitals, and they had something to prove and present to Leicester and other banks, just to say, okay, now I'm ready. You see, this is the proof. This is the projections that we have for futures. This is the business structures. So then you could start with a little bit of a loan. You build your credit. They get more. You get the credit lines and so on and so forth. So don't think like, oh my God, I don't have all these characters and I have to be like, no, no, no. We helped a lot of people to start a business and they're already making money right now. Okay. That's what I wanted to add.
What I would add to that, Lester, the good thing about working with him, end of the day, he's a broker that is going to also consult with you and review all these steps and brainstorm to see, okay, what can we present, or what are we missing that maybe, could help us get through the finish line and get this application approved. So, it's different of sometimes going or working directly with a bank. It's okay, these are the requirements, you don't meet them. Okay, come back later. We cannot approve you. Here, the good thing, he has a good relationship with with a lot of different banks. Depending even on your profile, he can even send those applications to the different banks, that, where you can have a little bit more possibilities to get that application approved. So here, shortly, I'll also send in the chat. I'll put in the chat Lester's email, so you guys can save it if you ever need it.
I know he does like the soft check on everyone's too. Like whoever all our clients they come, he does the soft credit check on them at the beginning to see their situations and stuff, which it won't affect your credit scores and stuff. I know he will talk about it, but I mean, like we do it in a very smart and nice way. Lester's is the best at this, and he's been helping us a lot. I'm assuming I'll go to the next one. Yep. So finance process steps.
So we typically the process is we offer kind of a general estimate of what payments could look like based on the story. I like to get a story from the business owner or the person that's starting their business. The story is um, what you've been through, your experience, what you've saved up, your plan, because that tells me where they may fit in and what type of investor may approve them. So that's real important to share that part. And then we request, we make it very simple. We request just a credit application and bank statements to review a file. And then I give the client feedback. And if there's any questions, I talk to them about it. And if they're approved, then I give them the terms. And the terms, they can take their time, discuss it with a spouse or significant partner and review what they want to do. And when they decide to move forward, it's all done online. So once the terms are agreed to, we send out DocuSign, and they can sign it on their phone, they can sign it on the computer, and they're done. So there's not a lot of paper shuffling. There's nothing you have to physically mail to me because everything can be authenticated and authorized online. And I make it a point of giving you feedback if I can the same day or by the next day. And as Ash mentioned, we soft pull credit only. So one thing I would advise business owners, make sure if you're shopping around that everybody isn't hard pulling your credit. Because once an investor sees 6 different hard pulls, and by the way, automotive industry is notorious for this. They will pull half a dozen in one shot while you're sitting in the waiting room. And once a investor sees that, it doesn't look well because it not only knocks down your score, but it starts to tell someone, why is there so many inquiries on one report? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why you make sure that you're only getting soft pulled. And that's what we do. There's no cost for us to review. And then we give you feedback and we can get the process rolling. Usually it's 1 to 5 days. I say I can give you an approval usually within the next day if you provide me accurate information. But if there's any lag time, it's usually the customer that needs to look something up or find some information. So that's really the speed of it. Kind of depends on you, but that's the normal process we go through.
Amazing, amazing. There we go. Rates and fees. That's the
And
fun
that's
part.
kind of the range. Yeah, the rates right now are about 9 to 11% for an A credit. Bs are 12 to 14. Transportation is higher because that's become a very high risk sector of the market. And these rates fluctuate with the index rate and the federal rate. So this could change if it goes up. It's been creeping down. So when that creeps down, this goes a little bit lower. Normally it's 100% finance. And so that may require no down payment or 1 month prepayment. So if you have a 60-month approval, you may have to pay just 1 month in advance. But it's not a fee because that makes your remaining payments 59 payments due. And
Mm-hmm.
then typically there's a documentation fee. It can be anywhere from $200, $250. It covers the legal costs of generating a finance agreement with all your information on it. And sometimes there's a site inspection fee, but it's not too often. And it may be for a startup where you put an app on your phone and you turn it on and it pings your location, and then you turn on the camera, you show that the equipment's installed, and that verifies. It takes 5 minutes, and it verifies to the investor that it's there, that everything is indeed set up, and they pay the dealer or vendor. So that, but I haven't seen a lot of those lately. So, and there's no fees until you're completely signed up and approved. So there's nothing you're paying in advance or anything like that.
Amazing. This is like 100%. I think that's the best $450 of your life if you have to spend and you got approved for equipment that is going to build your business and then bring you a lot of money to account. I think that's the best. Before also we go to the next one, but I want to say the way we work is like if you decide that you want to take that step, we'll make sure to make that happen somehow. But it's just a matter of like we know someone sitting across from us and it says like actually I am ready, I've been trained, I want to start the business, I want to make it happen, I need these services. Okay, I want to look like a medical spa and I want to generate money. If that they're that serious and they want, we make sure to help them to make that happen. Okay, whatever the ways that is. I mean, Lester knows all the tricks. We know all the business part of it. We know what equipment, what services, what technology they need to do, how much money they should spend at the beginning, how to market it, and then we get you on your way, which we have so many success stories in this matter based on our backgrounds and experiences that we had in this field. And that's why it kind of makes us a little bit different than others, I think, in this industry.
And
Right.
I'll just real quickly because I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
you're hitting your time.
Yes,
Um,
yes. I was gonna
for
say.
for this equipment, for aesthetic equipment that's under 250,000, very simple. Application, I get a quote from Alex. You send me bank statements, you're done. You're not going to send me anything else. Once you get over 250,000, then it becomes a different deal, and there's tax returns and other things that are needed. But normally, what we see in this market is the real simple process. And then, of course, small businesses usually have to personally guarantee because
Mhm.
being the 100% sole owner or majority owner, most investors want you to have that faith that you're going to do well. And that's all that does. It doesn't put a blanket lien on your assets. What it
Mhm.
does, it puts a legal requirement to pay the debt or to settle it. Okay, so it's different than a lien, and some people get confused. There's no lien on your house or your boat or your condo.
Mhm.
You only are signing that you're promising to pay, and if not, then there's a collection process. But that's a different story.
Mm. But me and Alex, I promise you guys, we will never let you guys to make that decision in your whole business, even if it's not with us, with any other company, to start spending $250,000. That is the wrong, and that's what we've been saving a lot of people in this field at the beginning. We will never let not only 250, I don't think not even 150. And that's what we're good at, and that's what people know us for. We get them in the business, they start making money the first 6 months, a year profitable. No, Alex, we never let them. I mean, I saw
No,
so many of
no,
my own doctor friends.
not even close to there.
No, 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 no. That's not the plan. Thank you so much, Lester. I hope, yeah, I mean, there's so many good information. There she comes. There's so many good informations you share with us. It was very useful, and I think it's very important for people to understand this part of the business, and something that maybe they don't think about it, or sometimes they're too scared of going that directions, or they don't even start something because they're like, oh, I would never get qualified, or I would never be able to start my business, have that medical spa that I want, the services that I want to offer, I look like the other medical spa, look so good, and they're making so much money. It's very doable. You just have to take the right steps. You just need to get the right informations from the right people, and you're on your way, just like everyone else. The difference between you and them is they did it and you didn't. That is the only difference between you guys and them. They did it and you didn't. So whenever you feel like you want to do it, we're here to help you guys too. How much time do we have?
You're good. I know you have more things to talk about. You're fine.
Oh, she's amazing. Amazing.
I'm in a great mood today.
Oh, let's keep that up. Well, yes. Again, any questions? Any questions you think you have now? Or even if you want to sign up and ask us question later, you might, sit down and think a little bit, think about your situations, where you're at, what's the plan for the business, what kind of marketing you want to do, what kind of services you're not sure what services you want to offer. You want to have the equipment, you don't know which one to get, how to invest in it, what to bring first. All of these, we're here to help you guys, and we helped a lot of people. And don't think that since we've been on both sides, I've been on your sides, and now we're on the business side. Don't think that I had clients that I told them do not buy our machine. I mean, we have because we're at the end of the day, we're a medical device company too. But I had a clients that I told them to not buy our machine at the stage that she was at, and then I told her what to do for the 2 months, and this was actually very recent. And then after 2 months, she did something with the stuff that she had. She got on a stage that she contacted. She's like, I am ready and I want to buy. And this is very true story. I mean, if you guys message me personally, I would connect you to that person too if she's okay with it. And she was like, no, no, I'm ready. I made some money. I did some arrangement. The structure is right. I'm actually profiting, and I have clients for the equipments that you guys offer. And I think it fits right in. And she's doing great now. It's been 3 months that she's working, and she's been paying even extra than the loan amounts. Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing, Alex, you want to tell them about the.
Yeah. Well, to finish off what Ash was saying here in the chat, in case you guys have questions after we're done with the webinar, you have the link to set up a chat with me and Ash if you wish. You also have Lester's website link, his email address, if there's some financing talks you want to have with him, regardless if it's regarding maybe some of our technology or other equipment that you're looking at. He can definitely help you with that. And last few things, I'll just real quick go to the next slide, please.
Mhm.
Introduce ourselves very quickly. As I said, we're a Spanish company. Well, based our US base is in Orlando, so we're a Spanish American company, medical device company. So we started this project a few years ago. We have mostly these two state-of-the-art technologies, the multifunctional laser platform that we use a lot, actually with Empire members because they're starting out, and as a multifunctional service, with your injectables, a few other low-cost services, and then a machine like this, you're pretty much a full Medspa from the get-go with not even $80,000 investment. You have a full service catalog for your Medspa. Now, more recently, actually, this month, we're very excited. We just launched the Skin Analyzer, which is a very, very effective tool for all your consultations that you'll do at your spa. It just really professionalizes all the process and during the consultation. So, if this sounds like something maybe you want to learn more about or discuss further, again, you have the link here in the chat. And then finally, as a thank you for you guys that stayed until the very end, if this happens to be something that works out for your practice and Lester is able to do his magic and get you guys through the finish line and get you approved, Ash and I decided we can put together a little promo and cover the first 2 months of payments, whatever that comes out to, of the financing. That way, even you can have the machine start generating your clientele those first 2 months. And then when that first payment comes in, you already have a clientele you're working with. So that's our commitment to you. Obviously, we have noted down here who stayed until the end. So feel free to reach out. And if it's something that potentially you're interested in, we commit to helping you in that aspect on our end.
And by the way, just for them to understand the whole concept, remember he said 250,000. If you guys go out there and you see probably either at Empire with the other vendors and even in the shows and expos and stuff, or you ask around, you see the machines are very expensive in general, and there is a reason for it. They should not be that expensive, to be honest. Not that we know, but they are that expensive. And just because they sell it, they know people make money with it, and they make a lot of money with it. So none of the sides mind. But I feel like for the people on your stage and starters and stuff, it's very difficult financially to start investing this much. Okay, you need to invest to make money, but it's very difficult. That's why when we started this project, we were focusing on what is needed at the beginning, prioritizing the equipments that you need for your business. But at the same time, we start doing it in a very right budget, and a fair budget for the people. And that's why we made it multifunctional, because you need one. You cannot go buy three machines. With one, you could have three machines basically. That's why we kept the price still like European for you guys, is Spanish price, because you can, and you don't have, and don't hate us if next year or year after we'll be one of the people in the $250,000 that Leicester could get him. We keep it 249 just to keep him under that for qualifying. But because we can. But at this stage, with the collaboration with Empire, with the training they offer and what they need, the next step, we are that next step for them, just to get them in the field. And then you see it when we help you guys in the first 4 months, 5 months. You see how much money, what we're talking about. And then the conversation becomes much easier between you guys, and we could both start smiling. And you see how much money you could make. But what you take from today is how to set up that business, the accounting part, the tax purpose, how you could, even the investment that you're doing now, how you could use it for the next year for your tax deduction. So these are the little things that we try to make sure that you're doing, and you have that success story at the end. And as you see, like all the products we brought is the products that you just need all this package and put them in there, and it's gonna be under the $100,000, and you're a full Medspa already. And I think surprisingly, that's it. Yeah. Thanks. Hey, do you want to jump in and stop us? This is
This is incredible. We've
yeah,
done a great
I'm not
job.
used to this. Yeah.
I know. This has been fantastic. Well, I don't see any more questions, but again, Lester's information is in there, and the link to book a free consultation with you guys.
Amazing.
All of that is in the chat. And then I think that's going to wrap us up. If you guys have anything else.
No, I hope to see you guys at some of the events. I think this one, me and Alex ourselves were attending because it's end of the year. And I am going to be in LA, and Alex going to be in New York. And Lester is always one phone call away or one form away. So he's always there and helping us very quick. And again, make a decision if that's what you're going to do. We make sure to make that happen somehow, okay? We find a way. Just leave that to us, and we try to find a way to make that happen for you guys. You just have to decide if you want to do it or not. And that's it.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time tonight. And I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend, wherever it is that you are, West Coast, East Coast. I hope that you meet a lot of fun people and you have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys. Thank
All
you.
right. And for
Good
everyone
job.
else,
Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you. Before I let everyone else go this evening, I had just a couple other things that I wanted to talk about. At Empire, our membership programs are designed for one purpose: to support your entire professional journey. As a medical provider, you know that true mastery requires consistency, repetition, mentorship, and continued exposure to evolving techniques. A membership gives you exactly that: a structured learning pathway that grows with your practice. Our membership tiers, Platinum, Diamond, and Sapphire, are built to provide the access, training, support, and clinical resources you'll rely on throughout your career. Our membership gives you a complete roadmap from foundational skills to advanced procedures, opportunities to revisit courses virtually as your confidence grows, consistent hands-on practice, access to instructors who remain available to you long after the course ends, as well as trusted educational partner as your practice evolves. Our aesthetic training plans are created to help you achieve competency quickly and grow your professional skills with confidence. With Aesthetics 101, you develop essential injection fundamentals that form the core of nearly every cosmetic procedure. These procedures allow you to immediately begin integrating safe, predictable results for your patients. The Aesthetic Injector Pro Track is for practitioners who want to complete a guided route to becoming a full spectrum injector. It includes advanced procedures like PDO threads, GLP-1, and functional medicine, giving you a strong foundation across multiple in-demand modalities. And with the Build Your Own Plan, you can tailor your training to meet your precise patient population, practice goals, and future direction. Memberships are the foundation for clinicians who intend to grow, not just learn once, but continue strengthening their skills over time. Here's why our members continuously tell us it's the most valuable decision they've made. You gain consistent access to training in multiple states. You learn from diverse medical experts. You unlock a competency pathway of over 31 courses. You develop business and marketing skills that empower you to grow with confidence. And you receive hands-on practice with real patients. Membership is about reinforcement, repetition, and long-term mentorship, the heart of truly safe and confident procedural medicine. If your schedule is demanding, as is for most medical professionals, our virtual membership provides you a structured, university-level curriculum you can access anywhere, anytime. Virtual training is not a substitute for hands-on experience. It is a powerful complement that supports your clinical growth between workshops. It ensures you stay informed, confident, and prepared as techniques evolve. Board certification is a meaningful milestone in your professional journey. It signifies commitment, expertise, and a standard of excellence your patients immediately recognize. Certification enhances your credibility, strengthens your trust, and positions you as an authoritative provider in your field. It's not just about adding letters to your name. It is about elevating the quality of care you provide, increasing patient confidence, and aligning yourself with the highest standards of clinical practice. This is an investment in your reputation, your growth, and your long-term success. Our workshops cover a wide range of topics to meet your needs, such as Botox and dermal filler training, advanced cannula techniques, anti-aging and functional medicine modules, and business and marketing strategies. You can find this list on our website at empiremedicaltraining.com. Under the calendars tab, you can see what we have coming up both virtually and in person. As a thank you for attending this training, we're extending a special opportunity for you to continue your education with Empire. This isn't just a discount, it's an invitation to further develop your skills, expand your professional capabilities, and join a community of dedicated medical professionals committed to excellence. I'll post our contact information in the chat. Please reach out with any questions, and we'd be happy to offer you one-on-one support. With that, guys, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and put that email address into the chat right now if you'd like to reach out to us. And I thank you again, Ash, for a wonderful webinar, and have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.